Hello, hello world. Hello, my name is Rachel Silber, and I am here. Wow, I'm here to share with you my journey, my story, the tools of access consciousness, which I've been playing with for around about 9 years now. And hi, Rita, it's good to see you. And I just wanted to share my story and explain that it had nothing to do with being dramatic. It wasn't like earth-shaking and world-moving, and yet it was very magical because it gave me. So I actually avoided, there's a request by Access, by the wonderful, amazing, magical gaggle of Access Consciousness. They're compiling different people's stories about the bars, about the gift of the bars in their life. And I said, well, you know, that's so sweet. That's so nice that people are writing and that people are contributing and that people are making videos. But surely mine's not necessarily much of a story. It's not something that's just so, you know, from black to white, or, you know, something so amazingly transformational. And yet it is. So I just wanted to say I just turned in just a little thing that I wrote for the book. I'll read it to you actually, but I'll read it in a couple of moments. I just wanted to say that the bars for me never have been and are not about healing anyone. They are about giving each of us a choice. And that's the thing, and it brings me close to tears, because it is the one thing that I didn't think that I had when I found the tools of access consciousness in 2011 or late 2010, can't quite even remember. I didn't think I had a choice. I thought I lived in a world where it is what it is, and this is it, and you have to settle for fine, or for everything's all right, or for, well, this is just the way it works in the world, and this is reality, and this is just what you gotta be and what you gotta do. And I never thought that I had a choice. And so when I heard someone on a telesummit giggling and laughing and having an entirely good time, which to me, what the hell is that? You know? How dare you, almost. I had to find out more. It took me several times of re-listening to that particular interview to be able to write down these really strange words that sounded like Swahili: right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. There wasn't this wonderful place that you could go to that explained it all with so much ease, like there is nowadays, where you could go to theclearingstatement.com and find out everything that you like about the clearing statement. No, that didn't exist in those days. And I had to do a hell of a lot of searching online to find out anything about access consciousness, about Gary Douglas or Dr. Dane. And it was just this demand in my world that I don't know what this is, but if this person is laughing so much, if there can be laughter and joy and ease in the world, even if it seems like it's just for other people, I'd like to have some of that in my life. And it may not sound like much for anybody who knows my energy now, but if you had known me in 2011, 2010, I was all about drama and trauma and felt very responsible for the entire world, carried the whole world pretty much on my shoulders, felt like I had to fix everybody and everything, starting with Me, first of all. I was the greatness wrongness walking. I'd been diagnosed in college as bipolar. I was considered very depressed. I spent, I think like 15 years, basically 15 years, maybe 13 years, I don't know, something like that, in therapy, much of it medicated. So I didn't come from this space of, wow, life's a party, let's go have fun. It wasn't like that. And yet I knew something else could be possible. So when I heard this woman laughing, and when I heard her mention the bars, there were no bars, anything. And there was no access consciousness in Guatemala. But I took the possibility when I traveled to the United States and I was visiting my family in Houston. I said, okay, I have to find out about this. And I reached out to Curry Glissell, who's a certified facilitator in Houston. I reached out to her and I asked for a session. And she said, well, you could have a session or you could have a class. And she explained to me what would happen in a session and what would happen in a class. And that in a class, it would be almost like 2 sessions, that I could have 2 times have my bars run and I could actually learn what a concept. So I chose to make it a date. I grabbed my then 9-year-old son, who's now 18, and we went over to Curry Glissell's house to experience our very first bars class. I had no clue what the bars were. I had no expectations whatsoever. All I knew was, this is for me. This is for me. I don't know what it is. I don't have to feel it to know it and to see the value of it. There was no quote unquote valuing. And that's the really interesting thing, because I didn't need any reasons or justifications. I just knew there was something there for me. It didn't come from here. It was as if the universe actually was pushing me, or consciousness was pushing me. Something was pushing me into this. And so, yeah, I contacted Curry. I had my very first bars class. And in that bars class, towards the end of it, she mentioned to me, if you have 2 more bars classes, then you can become a bars facilitator. And then when you go back to Guatemala, you could facilitate. You could share this with other people. And I was, wow, what a concept. I'll have that. And sure enough, that's what I did. By the end of the summer, when I flew back to Guatemala, I'd had 4 bars classes, I think, and 2 of what are now called the foundation classes, the 4-day classes to delve in and to undo and shift and change everything in your reality. They are not for the faint of heart, because as I described it to my husband at that time, my description was somebody pretty much just pulled the fucking rug out from under my feet and everything is moving and everything is shaking. My daughter's way of explaining it is, the floor is lava, you have to keep moving. And it's like that, very much so. Whenever you keep choosing, whenever you keep asking, whenever you keep inviting possibilities into your life, it's this world of the more. And that's the gift of access consciousness for me, as it doesn't go from here at all. I'm taking a class now called Creation of and As, or Of and From Infinite Possibilities. And it's so interesting because it goes back to basics. Who is the one who creates all the limits in our life? It's us. And where do most of those limitations come from? From trying to contort or conform to other people's points of view, other people's decisions of what is true in the world. And what if that's not necessarily so? And so it's been such a gift. This entire journey has been about melting any barriers, any barricades, any definitions of this is me, this is the outside world, this is what I know, this is what's supposed to happen. No. What the bars did for me is give me the space of me, give me the ease of me, give me the relaxation of me, where I could begin to live undefended, unconstructed, and much more willing to explore and to see and to choose possibilities around me. And I have no words for the gratitude that I have for the tools of access consciousness, and specifically for the space and the ease of the bars. It certainly has made parenting, and I had a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old at the time. Now I've got a 13-year-old and an 18-year-old. Also changed a lot of the dynamic of me with me, the dynamic of the relationship with my husband, just everything. And has opened us as a family, and myself particularly, to receive more, to notice that there's more that we can ask for, and to actually be willing to receive it as well. And so I'll read the little snippet that I had sent into Access today. I don't know if it'll be included or not in the book, but you'll be receiving it. And since I love to do read alouds, I figured I might as well. I'm not really sure how to begin, so I'll just jump right in. This whole journey since I found Access Consciousness and the bars in 2011 has been difficult to pinpoint, difficult to verbalize, and strange to express. Before the bars and Access Consciousness, the world I moved in was small. My world, in quotes, my world, was related to everyone else's world. Measured, weighed, and very carefully constructed. Most of it was based on the wrongness that I felt. The wrongness that I had judged myself to be. I'd spent most of my adult life attempting to fix what seemed to me the eternal and ongoing wrongness. I was a seeker and a fixer-upper, finding myself between telesummits and self-help books, committed to not honoring me, just to judging myself into change. I heard so much laughter in the interview that I got mad. So I listened again and again, because I got that if I'm resisting something so dynamically, there must be something there for me. I wrote down the strange words that I heard repeated throughout the conversation. And this was a telesummit conversation. That was my first exposure to the Access Consciousness clearing statement, and I was determined to find out more. I was curious about the bars, since I'd heard them mentioned in that telesummit interview. I was one of the seekers of the world who just know that something else must be possible, and that if I just seek more, I'll find some clue. The interesting thing is that I never found peace or ease or relaxation until I had my bars run. There was always more to fix and change about me. When I traveled to the United States that summer, I reached out to Curry Glissell for a session, and she offered me a class. I stepped into my very first bars class with my 9-year-old son in tow. This was where I experienced my first bars session and bought my first Access Consciousness book. Money isn't the problem, you are. Since then, the world has exploded. It went from a polarized and monochromatic world of right and wrong, where I was the greatest wrongness walking and trying to contort myself to fit and fulfill other people's expectations, to a burst of colorful and chaotic surprises and possibilities. What I found in the bars class, and truly in every class I've taken since, is the space of me. There was no specific magic wand. There was no cure-all magical pill. All my life did not transform overnight. It's just that since I began adding the bars and asking questions and letting go of expectations, it's as if the barriers and the barricades surrounding me, keeping me isolated and alone, began to dissolve, to dissipate, and to disappear. And that space of me, the ease that I'd be, the relaxation that I chose more and more of, it just expands every day with every choice that I make. I did not come to a bars class because I thought it would heal me, nor did I come to fix anyone else, except my mother. I have to admit, I thought that may make my mother happy, but that didn't work. And, well, since I've let that wish go. I had no concept or even expectation other than that this, whatever this is for me. When I run anyone's bars, I'm in a space of curiosity and allowance for the person in front of me, wondering, hey, what will this create? What contribution could this be, and could I be? And what can this person receive? What else is possible? I chose more and more. 3 more bars classes that summer and 2 foundation classes as well. Life was opening up. I was choosing more and more of me and for me, just like we're inviting in a bars class, you know? Choose what creates more lightness in your world. I returned to Guatemala in 2011 as a bars facilitator with so much excitement to spread the seeds of possibilities in the world. Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, says that you are a success if you can contribute to one person's life. I've done that for me. And with that joy, I might have infected just a few other people around the globe. Since 2013, I've been a certified facilitator and have had the pleasure of so many expansive conversations and interactions all around the world. We don't know how far and wide the ripples of every choice that we make reach, but they do go far and they do go wide. And they go further still when we acknowledge them and when we acknowledge us. And that's what I love about the bars. The more I choose to have my bars run, the more relaxed I become and the more open I am to seeing the colors and the possibilities in the world. I'm a self-proclaimed bar slut. I'm happy to have my bars run anytime and any place. There is so much more to us in the wonderful world that we live in beyond what meets the eye. How much magic are you willing to allow yourself to be, to see, and to receive? And what if we begin every day with magic? So keep choosing. You are a gift, and this world is truly waiting for you to show up in your fullness and in your brilliance. Are you ready? All you gotta do is choose. So, well, why am I telling y'all this? Especially in the age of Corona Schmarona where, wow, there is such a difference. I mean, I love facilitating bars classes. It is one of the greatest joys that I have, is to see people's faces and their lives just light up. But right now, in this moment in time, this crazy 2020 spring and summer, we're not really allowed to do so many in-person events. So I'm really, really grateful that there are possibilities like a global bars class where you can begin to learn how to run the bars from the comfort of your own home. And so I wonder if you're willing to receive the gift of the bars, if you're even curious about finding someone and having a session run. And if you begin to choose not the cognition, not the, oh, this is going to do such and such and such a thing. Remember, the bars are about opening up the space of receiving in your world. Who heals is you by your choices, not the bars, right? They don't do that for you. They give you this space by detoxing all that electromagnetic charge of thoughts, feelings, emotions, and whatever else you use to limit you. But they don't fix you in any way, shape, or form. You choose to have more of you when you have your bars run. Hence, you know, it's well, great way of saying it. It's kind of like, you know, those blinders that you put on horses. Well, we live like that. We live in this like tunnel vision world where we're looking for the one direction, the one right way. This is the thing that works. This is what science tells me, or this is what I know to be true. Well, what if it's not necessarily so? And what if everything really is the opposite of what it appears to be? And all those things that we took as givens or as absolutes What if they're not? And when we're willing to just unfurl and unfold a little bit, to just receive a little beyond our comfort zone, a little tiny bit, with no expectation, I wonder what could change and what could melt and what could open up. And if it's anything like it's been for me, oh, it'll be quite a joyride. Not necessarily comfortable, but in that uncomfort, in that, as my daughter called it, like I mentioned before, the floor is lava. There is the creation, the reach, the exploration of possibilities beyond your wildest imaginings. So enjoy and keep choosing. And I wonder what that choice will create, not just for you, because this isn't just about you, my friends. Every single one of us is connected to everyone else. That's the gift of oneness. So whatever we choose contributes to a greater world for everyone. And how does it get even more amazingly, magically, yummylicious than that? Mwah! Arrivederci.